Hello guys, welcome back for the Risc-V channel for embedded Rust programming on Risc-V target. And this is the Git repository I use in this for this YouTube channel. So I'm just gonna so if you see these files, and I have made some changes since my last video, but what I want to do is just go back to the last commit in the previous video and run through, make some changes, and show how we can change the existing GPIO HAL into a modular Rust code. Okay, so that's fine because I'm not gonna commit this into the Git, but just want to show. So this is where I finished in the previous video. It was a messy code, and as I have just started with the migrating to Rust, I'm slowly learning to write a modular system level code in Rust. Okay, so if you see here, there are a lot of things that I want to change first. Yeah, so this is the GPIO memory map registers which we took from the data sheet, but then this pointer cast is there in every method. Okay, I really want to remove this duplication. That is one, and also these names, method names, configure as IO, write high. It's generally GPIO would be like set high, set low, set as input and set as output. So that would be more readable. And if you go to the TOML file, I named this as a hi-fi 1 revision B board. So the library crate. So in this package, there are two crates. One is the hi-fi 1 revision B board crate, and other one is the rustic wires. This is a binary crate. But if you see this library crate, it would be more appropriate to name after the SOC, which is FE310, because this GPIOs are specific to the SOC. Okay, and also this library.rs file, you see a few data structures I did not use, and I also I don't want this to be part of the hi-fi 1 revision B crate. Instead, I want this to be a GPIO module. Okay, so I'm just gonna make changes and make it modular, and just want to show you how a modular it would look in Rust, and how you can write a modular code in Rust at the system level. Okay, so first let me throw this out because it's never used. And if you scroll down, so let me create a new file. And call that as gpio.rs. I'm just gonna copy all this, move it into the GPIO module, and in the lib.rs, just gonna mention that create just a module, public module, and name that as GPIO, and what the cargo or the Rust compiler would do when it passes this lib.rs, it would just look for a file in this name. So that's why I created this. Once I save this, yeah, so this library crate has a module named GPIO, and right away it would just look for GPIO.rs. Then here I would, so the binary crate, how you would access those views, and let me change this as FE310. See. Okay, now in this module, what I want to do is this memory map registers should be private, yeah. Then these are just masks. I'm just gonna name this as generate underscore mask. Replace, and replace. Okay. So just renamed that as generate mask. Then I see some dead code here. I will just, oh no, okay, let that be there. Just remove this for now. So created the module, and inside the module, yeah, new std. Then, so this modules should be named with the lowercase and Rust naming convention, and the structures should have the first letter in uppercase. So I'm just gonna create a structure and stop mutable of command C. Okay, then we can build our methods, or we can add associated methods on top of the structure in Rust. So GPIO, and I'm just gonna create a first function, which should be public function init, and it doesn't take anything, and returns this. So the address should be so that's it. Then each method should take a reference. I'll remove all this dead code here. So once we have the self taken as the input parameter, then we don't need this. So this would avoid duplicating in every method. And so start t should be self dot 0, and we don't want this to be mutable. Instead this x. So since we have the address already passed in as self, we just dereference that and or with the mask and write it back. So here it should be .0. Okay. So, and I don't need this. So this is just to, I just prevented the mangling to make sure I'm able to read the file, function names in the object file, but I don't need it anymore. Okay. Right. Now let's do the same thing on all other methods, and I don't need this, and we don't have this mutable command X. And gp.0. Same thing here. And I'll just remove this because I'm not using this now. And so that would reduce the methods by one to make changes. So though we have removed the pointer typecast of a raw pointer, or we had a variable t or as a raw pointer, though we have removed that, still this unsafe is needed because so the compiler knows that this self is a raw pointer, so whenever you dereference, still you need this unsafe block. Okay, so now if we compile, we should see some errors. Let's see what that is. No std GPIO should be in the root module. What is this? Okay. X, and let's move it here. And what's next? Hi-Fi 1. Okay, so from the binary crate, or from the main, we have to change the way we call those. So here it should be GPIO, and GPIO is a module name followed by GPIO, and now first we need to init, so that would be, let's do it here, GPIO. So this is the module name, and then we have the struct, then dot init. Equal to. Okay, then to call this, so it should be GPIO and module, sorry, the name is GPIO file. Okay, equal to GPIO dot configure as in, and let's see. So you should observe, this difference. So when we invoke the method, which is part of the module, then we invoke with two colons. Whereas when you invoke a method of a struct, then you would use the instance and followed by the dot. So now I can just copy this and as in. I don't know why it's okay. It should be configured as out. Out. And here it should be low. So low, and it's right high. Okay, so that's about it. Let's see if there is any build error now. Perfect. So what is this? If this is unintentional prefix with an underscore p, host variable, right low. Okay, so I missed this line. So if you have to write low, what we should do is instead of R, so we generate the mask. Okay, so since I write 0 in all the for all 32-bit GPIOs, since this write 0, so that's why it's not used, but that's fine. So again, I think these methods can be refined further, but this is more about how to change the code into a modular code. Okay, so now if I want to add a evot module, I can just do evot and add a evot.rs file and add all those changes there. Okay, but so I have also modified this write low because as you see here, it just writes 0 in all the 32 GPIOs, but what would be appropriate here is whatever the value it's there in the register, and this is a mask which would just have 1 in that particular bit position. So what you can do is you invert this, which is like a knot of that mask, and instead of R, you would AND. Yeah, in this way it would be set to 0. For example, if this pin number is 3, third GPIO pin, so bit position would be 2, right? And the mask would generate 1 left shifted by num, so the mask would be so 1 and 2. So first one, you left shift by 1 and sorry, 1 and 2. So this is the mask, and to set 0 at this position alone, at the same time you should not disturb the existing values in those registers. So the right way would be just to invert this mask, which would be like 1 1 1 so and so, and 0 followed by 1 1. 32 minutes, and here you have the rest. So these are all the last 3 bits, and the last 3 bits in the inverted mask, the not of that would be this, and once you AND with this value, so this bit would be set to 0. Okay, so this is the right way of setting a particular bit 0. Okay, so thank you, and soon I will commit all these changes into the Git repo. Okay, and see you in the next session.